Okay, welcome to Lesson 2. In this lesson, I'm going to explain a little bit. We're going to do a specific example of copying this template logic into a specific PLC. What I like to do first is create like a area to work, a working station. I'll leave this template here alone. I'll copy this station here, and I'll paste it over here. Now I have this copy of my template that I can modify, delete, renumber, rename, things like that without affecting my base template. So let's pick a PLC to write a paste file for. See, you should have a Excel spreadsheet that looks something like this. PLC name, asset name. This is for the body shop. And we'll just pick a PLC here to do. Let's pick the roof one. Roof one's right here. You see there's 4 assets here. 4 station assets or tool assets. This would be a body tool. So in this case, doing the roof PLC, we need 4 body tool assets. Okay. We have no use for this conveyor, this vertical lift conveyor, this final tool, this process 35, or this process 90. And while we're at it, let's just delete all of the instance data blocks. And we can delete the UDTs we're not going to require also. So we're leaving the body UDT, deleting all our instance data blocks, and leaving the one body asset function block. Hit delete. Okay. So we have our one body tool. It's actually asset number 4. We need to create 3 more. So we're just going to copy and paste and rename. It can be asset 1. Asset 2. And asset 3. Now we need to give these guys symbolic names, so we'll just borrow from this one. And third asset. Okay. Now we need to create instance data blocks for each of our 4 body tool assets. Remember, we deleted our instance data blocks a moment ago, so we're just going to create 4 instance data blocks for each of these 4 function blocks. We're going to give them the same number as the corresponding asset function block. So this will be DB1501, instance of the function block 1501. And I'll have the same name as the asset function block, except we'll change this to DB here for data block. Okay. And we'll do this 3 more times. Okay. Now we have our asset function blocks with our corresponding instance data blocks. Now we can modify some of the code that we're going to change. It's just a couple things we have to look at here. First one is here, FC 1500, which calls all the assets. It's going to give you a warning, at least one symbol assignment changed, okay. At least one of the blocks that is being called as a subroutine is not available, okay. That's to be expected. You see it's saying, this is red here, saying there's a problem, saying this FIS conveyor doesn't exist anymore. Well, we know. So we're going to pick the right data block. It's the station 1 data block. It's the station 2 data block. Station 3. And station asset 4 is already done. And we don't have an asset 5. We'll just delete that. And we don't have an asset 6. I'll just hit the delete key and delete that. And we can do one little more piece of cleanup work here by giving these assets their real name. Something like that. Save this. The other function block we're going to have to modify for these changes is right here. This is the one that configures all the messages. So, open this. Again, we're in multi-send 01. This is function block 1601 in the template. So you see here, it doesn't like that it used to be a FIS conveyor write buffer. It's now changed because we're using the body tool. So we're just going to find the corresponding asset 1 write buffer right here and the corresponding asset 1 queue status. And we're going to repeat this for the other assets as well. Asset 4 is already done. Asset 5 we don't have, so we're just going to delete that. Delete. Asset 6 we don't have, so we're just going to delete that. And that takes us to our message. It's connection 1, 4,000 bytes. Let's go back and do a quick check here. Asset 1 starts at byte 0. Asset 1 here. Station 1 here. Station 2 here. Station 2 starts at 400. The next one starts at 800, station 3. Next one starts at 1200, station 4. This looks good. Save this. That's all you really have to change. You can come in here into each individual asset and at the top here it says edit comment to show asset name. So this is the other spot. Can update the asset names, and each asset's going to have its own unique data source ID also. You can do this now, or you can just do this when you come back later and program the specifics of the asset. But each individual asset will have its description updated and data source ID, along with all the rest of the corresponding logic. You could do it all now before we copy it over, or you could just do it later. That's not important. So we're ready to copy this into our real PLC. But before I do that, I like to do a quick compile. And all we're going to do is make sure that we did everything right. If this compiles with no errors or warnings, then we've done everything okay. And we're ready to copy it into our PLC. Zero errors and zero warnings. So we're ready to copy it into our specific PLC. Now we're going to select everything. We're not going to bring over OB1 because we don't really want to overwrite that in the other PLC. That one's going to exist, obviously. So we'll just grab everything else. Come over here to this PLC. We'll paste it in. Now there's some system function blocks that already exist. We don't need to overwrite them. They're standard numbers. So the system SFB0 we'll just leave alone. Same thing SFB4, SFB5, system function 20, 21. We'll leave these alone. These may or may not exist in your target PLC. You no need to overwrite the system ones. And that's that. And the last thing probably need to do in this PLC before we download all the FIS code is make sure we call it. Let's open up OB1. You see it looks like there's an MCP here that calls all the programs, so we won't put our call in here. We'll put it over here in this FC1. And see, here's where all the stuff is called. So I'll just make a new network. And all we really have to do is call FC1500. And it'll kick off all the FIS logic. And before I would download this to my PLC on the floor, again, now that we're in this PLC, I would run one more compile. Finish. Make sure there's no errors or warnings in any of the blocks you're about to download. That goes for, of course, the FIS blocks, which shouldn't have any warnings because we just checked them. And of course, any other blocks you're going to download. And that's it. That concludes lesson 2. And the next lesson, we're going to see what happens if we can't use these block numbers. You know, we have our template created, we're ready to paste into our target PLC, but you know what, these numbers 1500, 1501, they're already used, or we don't want to put them there, so we have to renumber these before we can go ahead and paste them over into our target PLC. We'll talk about that in lesson 3.